हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू न्यू वीडियो अगेन। आप सभी का स्वागत है एक नए वीडियो में, जहां हम देखेंगे क्लास 12 कॉमर्स चैप्टर 2 प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ मैनेजमेंट। पूरे कंप्लीट सॉल्यूशंस देखेंगे। बिना टाइम वेस्ट किए लेट्स बिगिन। Choose the correct option. What is principle of management? Result of experience. Why does need arise to make changes in principles of management? Change in technology. Who is the promoter of scientific management? Frederick Taylor. Which thoughts were presented till the end of 19th century? Classical. Who was the promoter of neoclassical thought? Elton Mayo. Who said that you save your employees will save yours everything? Professor Urvik. Which management gurus, given the willow, have contributed to modern thought? C.K. Prahlad. Who had given principles of management? Hendry Fayol. Method of removing waste generated from unnecessary movement done in wrong directions from any work. Motion study. Who was the founder of Principles of Management by Objective? Peter F. Drucker. Which activity from the following is possible by implementing labor division specialization? If employees does not get appropriate compensation, then what arises? Labor turnover. Answer the following questions in one sentence. What is principles of management? Principles which are formed in relation to the human behavior for achieving the goals easily are known as principles of management. What is time study? Time study means scientific study being done for the time required to complete certain part of task. The time decided to finish this work in normal circumstances is called standard time. What is unity of command? Unity of command means that employees cannot follow orders from more than one superior. It means that the employees should get order from only one superior for any job or activity. What is management thought? The principles, opinion and thoughts given by several management gurus are together known as management thoughts. Which concepts are included in behavior related thoughts? Concepts like interhuman relations, motivation, leadership, information, communication, processes, disposal of industrial disputes are included in behavior related thoughts. In modern thoughts, which other subjects are related with management? Psychology, social studies, statistics, mathematics, and computer and information technology are the other subjects related to thoughts of modern management. Answer the following questions in short. अगर आपने मेरे चैनल को अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो फटाफट से सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए. What is scientific management? F.W. Taylor defines scientific management as knowing exactly what you meant to do and then see to it that they do it in the best and the cheapest way. Scientific management is a mental revolution favoring employees of a factory. It focuses on tasks and duties of the employees, their colleagues and owners. Taylor suggested the following things to be adopted for scientific management. Each worker should be assigned work as per his mental and physical ability. Each worker should be instructed to perform maximum work as per category. A worker working efficiently and rapidly should be paid 30% to 100% more wages. What does the principle of equality? Equality. Employees are a part of managerial system. The employees are human beings and so the management should adopt a practical and humanitarian approach to handle them. Superiors should behave appropriately and uniformly while taking work from their subordinates. The management should make efforts to establish equality in uniformly other than through legal or traditional ways. These principles believes that behavior of employees is based on faithfulness, attitude, uniformity and justice in the unit. Principles of management are flexible. Suggest flexibility. The principles of management are not rigid. The manager may change them as per the need of the business. For example, in large units, the principle of division of work may be applied uniformly, but in small units, the principle of division of work may not be applied in the same proportion, and hence the one manager of the small unit may have to change the principle as per the firm requirements. Into which 6 parts Henry Fayol divided his entrepreneurial activities. Explain. Henry Fayol was a French engineer and industrialist. He contributed much in the management thoughts and principles. In 1961, he gave 14 principles of management. He presented these principles in his book Industrial and General Management. For better management is and classification of 14 principles, he divided activities of industrial units into 6 parts. These 6 parts are technological activities. These activities include factory machineries and activities related to production. Commercial activities, activities like purchasing, sales, exchange of units. Financial activities, activities like proportional of capital, use of capital, fund maintenance, reinvestment. Safety activities, this includes safety of employees, safety of assets, safety of goods, raw material. Accounting activities, these include financial statement and performing necessary statistical analysis. Management activities, these include planning, organization, direction, coordination, control activities. What is rule of thumb? Under the traditional management, the owners dominated the workers. The workers were asked to do maximum work without giving them any major benefit. Workers have no choice of their own. They had to simplify, follow what was told to do in whatever manner. The order given by the owners and managers was the rule of thumb against which the workers had no say. Explain the principles of unity of command. Unity of command. The concept of getting command from only one superior is called unity of command. Employees cannot follow others from more than one superior. Hence, this principle suggests that employees should get order from only one superior for any job or activity. As per this principle, an employee should be responsible to only one superior department for a particular job. This principle prevents any confusion that may arise amongst employees with respect to whose order to follow. If order comes from more than one superior, then it creates confusion amongst employees and hampers industrial discipline. Explain Taylor's differential wage rate study. Differential wage rate study. A differential wage rate study is a method of wage payment in which after test standard time for any task is being set, the worker gets a high wage rate for completing the job within the allotted time and lower wage rate for completing the job beyond the allotted time. Frederick Taylor favored this motivational wage method. Each worker working in a factory had different work efficiency. Considering this fact, efficient workers should get more wages, whereas workers having less efficiency should get lower wages. Answer the following questions in brief. Discuss about importance of principle of management. Importance of principle of management. Principles of management provide a vision to the behavior and approach of the managers. This in turn highly affects the management. Managers make use of principles for achieving business goals. The importance of management principles is discussed below. Increases managerial efficiency. Principles of management provide guidelines to managers to perform in a variety of situations. This improves the functioning of a business unit and also improves efficiency of managers. Second, maximum uses and efficient administration of resources. In most of the business units, the human and physical resources are available in limited quantity. So there arises a need of maximum uses of these resources that are available in limited quantity. Management principles help in increasing the utility and efficiency of resources that too with minimum cost inputs. Third, help to make scientific and logical decisions. Decisions should be always based on facts, proper logic and objectives. They should be justificable and should be taken on time so as to make them effective. Management principles help to make appropriate decisions on proper time without getting biased. To cope up with the changing business environment, management principles are necessary to meet business environments of changing circumstances. Fifth, to fulfill social responsibility. Profit is considered as the main aim of the business, but it is not only aim. Development and progress of society are also aim of business unit. By effective implementation of management principles, business unit can easily achieve aim of social responsibility. Sixth, useful for research, training and development. Management principles are the main element of management thoughts. Training, education and development are possible only through proper implementation of management principles. For example, in modern time, aptitude tests are conducted for appointing employees in various business units. These aptitude tests are prepared through research and by implementing and using management principles. Question number 2. Write a short note on modern thoughts. Thoughts of modern management. The format of industries and the business unit again changed after 1960. This demanded the need of special approach of management. Management was not restricted to the only business and industrial units but also included professional people and units that provide professional services like that of taxation, law, medicine, etc. These professions gave rise to a new class of managers. Over and above management thoughts for psychology, social studies, statistics, mathematics, and computer information technology also emerged. Management gurus like Kurz O. Daniel, George R. Terry, Peter F. Drucker, William Ochi, and C.K. Prahlad have contributed in thoughts of modern management. Question number 3. Principles of management are based on human behavior. Explain the statement. Based on human behavior. Human is at the center of the management. So the principle of management largely affected human behavior. Human behavior is a psychological phenomenon, and so implementing management principles on human will affect their behavior in the industry. Hence, it is important to keep this in mind while implementing the principles. Question number 4. Explain behavior related thoughts. Thoughts related to human behavior. Management is an art of getting work from others, that is humans. Keeping this in mind, these thoughts consider human behavior as the main part of management. Professor Ulfik said, "You manage your men will manage less of all." A business unit is managed by people. Hence, it is utmost important to study interrelationship between humans at workplace. Since management of people is done on the constant basis, the thoughts related to human behavior emphasizes on studying aspects that affect behavior of human in the workplace and their approach towards the work. So these thoughts emphasize on concepts like job satisfaction, increasing efficiency of employees, ways to keep them motivated, etc. All this is done by performing psychological observations on employees. Concepts like interhuman relations, motivation, leadership, information, communication, process, disposal of industrial disputes are included in behavior related thoughts. One of the biggest drawbacks of this approach is that it focuses on psychological aspects only and does not consider economic parameters of the business unit. Hence, some believe that the human relations cannot be maintained at the cost of productivity. Question number 5. Discuss about Peter F. Drucker contribution in management field. Contribution of Peter F. Drucker in the field of management. Peter F. Drucker 1909 to 2005 was a well-known management guru. He was also a famous writer, philosopher, and an educator. When globalization took place in the world, the business management changed drastically. It demanded development of new methods of management. Peter F. Drucker gave more importance to human as assets of business unit. He gave the concepts of management of objective, MBO, and principles of self-regulations. Under management by objective, Peter says that there should be uniformly in aim of employees and managers for achieving the aim. Management by objective is highly effective for a large variety of business units having different formats. Drucker also contributed significantly in human resource management, marketing management, and stress management. Owing to several contributions to make the modern day management, Peter F. Drucker is also called the father of modern management. Answer the following questions in detail. Describe the principles of scientific management. Principles of scientific management as given by Frederick Taylor. First, scientific method. Traditional methods should be abandoned and instead scientific methods should be appointed for working. Managers should think how the work can be done in the best way by analyzing it scientifically. Planning and implementation. Instead of leaving the function of planning and implementation of workers, experts should draft the plans and workers should follow. Job analysis. Analysis of the job to be done should be done before starting it. This is the best way to work done speedily that do with lower cost. Under job analysis, time and motion study as well as fatigue study should be done. This will decreases the cost of production and increase productivity. Fourth, standardization. Products and processes should be standardized and processes should be simplified. Doing so will reduce rework and produce all products or services with same desired specifications. Standardizations and simplification can be done for equipment, time, work environment, resources, etc. Fifth, scientific selection and training. Workers will be selected through appropriate and scientific methods. Standards or benchmarks will be set for education, employees' skill, guts, physical strength, training, etc. before selecting them. Moreover, an employee should be assigned work which is appropriate to his education, study and skill. Training should be provided to the workers from time to time to increase their efficiency. A variety of scientific tests should be designed and used to know their work interest. Sixth, financial motivation. Skilled and efficient workers will be given financial and other motivations. Several wage schemes have been recommended for motivating employees. The wage system must be adopted on the basis of individual productivity of employees. Wage rates will not be decided on the basis of speculation and randomness but only after conducting scientific study. Economical measures. While implementing the scientific management, the stress will be also put on economical ways of management. Rather than only scientific and technological matters of management, the units will emphasize on low cost production too. Cost estimation allied cost control methods will be considered well in advance. Moreover, if there occurs deviation in the estimations and their implementations, then corrected actions will be taken. Mental evaluation. Mental evaluations will take place between owners and workers for achieving objectives. Mental evaluation reduces stress between owners and workers and makes achievement of goals easily. Question number 2. Describe in detail about classical thoughts. Thoughts of classical theory. The thoughts of management presented till the end of 19th century are known as thoughts of classical theory. Frederick Taylor, Max Weber, Gilbert, Henry Gantt, and Henry Fayol were the main promoters of the thoughts of classical theory. Among these, the contribution of Taylor is quite important. The principles of scientific management presented by Frederick Taylor exist in the theory of management even today. The method of scientific management favors scientific principles by time and motion study rather than relying on traditional methods. Scientific management has made important contribution in the areas of special applications in management, progressive wages system, responsibility and scientific distributions of tasks. Contribution of Henry Fayol in thoughts of classical theory is also quite significant. He gave certain general principles of management. He decided levels of different tasks in business unit and tried to set limits for each task. He also provided universal principles of management as guidelines for performing managerial duty at different levels. Max Weber also contributed into thoughts of classical theory. By the end of 19th century, formats and size of industry started growing due to industrial revolution. The classical theory proved they would be less effective on the large industrial, and so there rose a need for changes in these principles. There rose a need of paying importance to financial motivation, less important to human approach and informal relations, etc. Question number 3. Describe Henry Fayol's principles of management. Henry Fayol principle of management. With his rich experience and knowledge, Henry Fayol presented 14 important principles of management. They are: first, division of work. Management gives more weightage to higher efficiency of employees and managers. Divisions of work is one of the ways to achieve this. As per management principles, productivity can be increased by optimum use of production equipment. However, in addition to this, division of work is necessary to increase efficiency of employees and managers. Henry Fayol emphasizes on division of work as it can also lead to specializations along with increased productivity. Division of works will be done at both managerial level and factory level to take the advantage of specializations. Authority, power and responsibility. Power and responsibility are two sides of a coin. Power without responsibility and responsibility without power are incomplete. When a person is assigned a responsibility for some job, then he should also be given some power to control that job. While assigning the power, different parameters like post of employees, knowledge, qualifications, experience, art of leadership, maturity, etc. should be considered. This will increase in the enthusiasm of employees, which in turn will make it easier to attain business objectives. Discipline. A proper discipline should be maintained for successfully attaining business objectives. Discipline creates harmonious environment at workplace. In order to make discipline in the industry, it is very important to make optimum use of equipment and to see that activities are done consistently. Industrial disciplines can be established by setting specific rules and code of conduct. This then lead to a proper administration of the unit. It becomes easy to manage and control the unit having more employees if proper code of conduct is established. It also increases work interest of employees and makes the work easy for the managers. Supervisors, clear and appropriate contracts between workers and owners, and appropriate implementations of punishments at every level are important aspects of discipline. Unity of command. The concept of getting command from only one superior is called unity of command. Employees cannot follow orders from more than one superior. Hence, this principle suggests that employees should get orders from only one superior for any job or activity. As per this principle, an employee should be responsible to only one superior or department for a particular job. This principle prevents any confusion that may arise amongst employees with respect to whose order to follow. If order comes from more than one superior, then it creates confusion among employees and hampers industrial discipline. Fifth, unity of direction. Planning shaping the future of business. However, if activities do not go as planned, then they are redirected and brought on the planned work. Track the directions for these things should be given by superior authority. By doing so, activities can be well coordinated and all the tasks can be done easily. According to this principle, there should be only one superior employee leading a particular group of employees. This group should be focused on one specific objective at a time. Subordination of individual interest would be general interest. This principle states that general interest is superior to individual interest. This principle tells that interest of the whole unit should be kept in focus rather than interest of individual or group of employees. The manager must try to integrate the individual goal with the organizational goal in such a manner that both of the objectives are accomplished with efficiency and effectiveness. Remuneration of personnel. The return or reward given by the employees against the service they render is called remuneration. Fayol says that employees of a company will be paid suitable and idle wages. This makes owner-employee relation stronger. In a unit, all employees do not work in the same efficiency. Some employees show higher efficiency than others. Such employees will be given more wages or rewards compared to others. This will keep the employees loyal towards the unit and stop them from leaving the job. The units will also put into practice promotional schemes like bonus, profit sharing, representation in management committee, etc. 8. Centralization. The business unit should decide the extent of centralization or decentralization it wants to adapt so as to have proper management. No delegation the power to subordinates and keeping them only in the hands of owners or top personnel is called centralization. Centralization is adopted when the business unit is small. This helps in making the best use of strength and abilities of employees. If the unit is big, it is highly advisable to leave centralization and adopt decentralization of power. 9. Scalar chain. Scalar chain is the formal line of authority which moves from highest to lowest rank in a straight line. This chain specifies the route through which the information is to be communicated to the desired location personnel. Fayol emphasizes that each information in the organization must follow according to this chain to facilitate clear communication of orders of the superiors and filling of the subordinates. This chain must be strictly followed in the organization. This principle emphasizes on creating change from the top level management to bottom level employees. Chain of power from higher administrative officers to bottom level employees will not be broken. There should be proper delegation of powers and responsibility at respective level. Moreover, the employees of the unit should be aware of who is responsible to whom. As a result, a scalar chain occurs which moves from top to bottom and from bottom to top. 10th. Order. These principles emphasize on two parameters, raw material arrangement and social arrangement. Each part of raw material should be at its appropriate place. Likewise, skilled employees should also be placed at the right place. Arrangement should be done for equipment or suitable place. 11th. Equality. Employees are a part of manager system. The employees are human beings and so the management should adopt a practical and humanical approach to handle them. Superiors will behave appropriately and uniformly while taking work from their subordinates. The management will make efforts to establish equality in unit informally rather than through legal or traditional way. This principle believes that behavior of employees is based on faithfulness, attitude, uniformity, and justice in the unit. 12. Stability of tender of personnel. Stability means no frequent change, termination, and transfer, etc. This principle says that in an organization, whenever an employee is appointed for a job, he/she should not be removed from or transferred from that position frequently. Permanent stable employees are assets of any business unit. An employee can develop himself by remaining in unit and contributing in the achievement of goals of the business unit. Moreover, as the employee remains for the long time in the unit, his knowledge of system of work in the unit leads to more productivity. This also reduces labor turnover rate. Initiative. Initiative means to start, to begin, or to instruct in a project. Here, in this principle, Fayol suggests that each employee should be given an opportunity to take some initiative in framing the functional plan as well as in determining the steps to be taken at each level for proper execution of the plan. Industrialists will provide such atmosphere that employees can enthusiastically participate in initialization. Initiation proves ability of independent working of an employee and indicates their leadership qualities. Strip the corps, feeling of oneness. Strip the corps means team spirit and teamwork, the feeling of oneness. Success of industrial unit lies in mutual relations of the manager and employees. Owing to this fact, there should be harmony in both classes. Managers should generate group feeling among employees. They should instill in the minds of employees that by working together they are achieve the goals easily and quickly. Henry Fayol said that above list is not last list of management principles. Managers can add a new principles of based on their experience, research and knowledge. These principles can be implemented in all kind of activities like business, economic, political and social. Question number 4. Describe in detail about nature of management. Nature. Principles of management are not regular and quite practical. Confusion. These principles are the guidelines to perform a task. This relates to task and reason. At the time of implementation of different tasks of management such as planning, organization and direction, it provides guidelines to manager for decision making. As per expert opinion, mostly these principles are truth but not absolute truth. Here rule of execution is also there. As per above discussion regarding the principle of management, we can conclude following points. First, universal acceptance. Principle of management can be applied to most of the business units. That is, they are universally applicable. These principles are needed whenever there is a need of collective efforts of humans. However, their application and form of implementation may change as per their type, form, activity and the size of the business. Second, flexibility. The principle of management are not rigid but it is flexible as per the situations. When a manager requires, there is a scope for flexibility. When these principles do not seem to match in same situation, the manager is allowed to effect change. For example, in large units, the principle of division of work may be applied uniformly, but in small units, the principle of division of work may not be applied in the same proportion. Third, general guidelines. Principles of management are developed on the basis of experiences gained by different experts in the different situations. While managing the unit, there arise several different types of simple and complex problems. These issues may differ from unit to unit. So in this regards, the principle of management may work fine for one unit but might not work for the others. Hence, it should be noted that the principle of management are general guidelines. They cannot be observed strictly that two in the same manner by every business unit. Fourth, based on human behavior. Human is at the center of the management, so the principle of management largely affected human behavior. Human behavior is the psychological phenomenon, and so implementing management principles on humans will affect their behavior in the industry. Hence, it is important to keep this in mind while implementing the principle. Fifth, contingency. Contingency is one of the elements applicable to the principle of management. Units can make use of these principles and achieve the business goals easily. For example, decisions related to questions like appropriate and relational wages to the employees, etc., depends on the concern regarding necessity and consistency of the affecting factors. That's it. So मुझे उम्मीद आप सभी को इस वीडियो से कुछ ना कुछ जानकारी मिली होगी एंड मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में.